Coach, you're 2 minutes early, so whenever you're
We're
ready.
good, y'all ready? We got everybody, or does anybody need to wait on it for a couple minutes early?
Dustin, you okay? All right, ready
Sure.
whenever you
Okay.
are.
All right, again, proud of our team. Anytime you come out and get a 34-0 win it's a good thing. Had a great shutout on defense. Thought our defense was outstanding in the game. Thought we kept leverage. What I was very proud of, physically we were better. They played very hard. But what I was proud of is our eye violations, our leverage, our points, a lot of little details. I thought we did a great job defensively of containing and trying to, on the play actions and not letting somebody slip loose and on the different eye violations which they can cause with their motions and shifts and formations. But I thought we did a great job. Thought very strong up front. The guys that were dominant, tackled well, covered well, did a great job on third down. Great to get Miles Jones back out there in the game. Got him playing again. McKinley's back out there, so those guys are all getting some of the guys back in groove and getting some playing time for everybody and getting better as a unit. Then offensively, thought we did some really good things. Thought we started very fast. Thought we come out 2 great drives. We scored 4 out of our first 6 drives, and the one we didn't, we had the ball in the 20 and give up a negative play. The big thing I'm harping on is you go back and look, and I was pushing the offensive line, pushing tight ends, pushing backs, or us running the football better. It's 4 guys are right, 1 guy's off, and it's a different guy, different time. And it's not ability, it's not scheme, it's not there anything. Oh, like one time we had an interior blitz, and with guard, and the 3 technique is supposed to reach out and is going to expand out. We go to reach him, we overreach him a little bit. He slides back off inside. Had the right assignment, just a poor technique. We had a half a step too far and let him slide under us. There was a time on a blitz one time we were coming out, we were blocking on the edge, and we let a guy come off where the guard didn't get to the tackle to allow him to come off. Just was about a half a step late. Knowing what to do, it's just technique things, it's little things. And like I always say, these things are never as good as they seem, as never as bad as they seem, and most of the things you fix. Go back to what I always say, do ordinary things better than anybody else. And they're technical, they're fundamental, they're very easy in the scheme in which we do, and our guys know it, can relate them when we come off. We just have to be more consistent. But we come down and scored 4 out of the first 6 drives, scored 2 minutes before the half, scored the first drive coming out the second half. Wish we could have got touchdowns on both of those. We got field goals, but those are points in which we try to emphasize in things we do. We got the running game going in the second half. Isaiah got some really nice runs, but we had just a few negative plays that we don't have. I always say this, if you can eliminate course turnovers, you don't have self-inflicted wounds and penalties, and you eliminate negative plays, even a 0-yard gain or a 1-yard gain keeps you on track that you can get back in pace. And we had a couple of those, which was one of the things that I was unhappy with that we can really fix. But I thought Zach, when his first start, to come out there and start like he did, hot as he did, made a good job, did a good job on third down, held a ball or two a couple times trying to make a big play once there. We got a holding call one time, but other than that, he forced one on a third down, and our guy was in front when he come back, but we're up 27-0, just throw it away. Those are things that you got to get in the saddle to play to go through those situations, but very proud of the way he managed the game, controlled the game. That I thought Isaiah and Chain did a good job in the game. Wiedemeyer played solidly, and our receivers. We had a couple drops at some places, but some of our young guys come in and made plays and made big plays, and that's what's going to have to happen. We got to keep continuing to growing in that group, and so we're getting better, and we'll continue to get better and where we're going. Special teams, I thought Nick was outstanding. I believe he was SEC Special Teams Player of the Week, if I'm not mistaken, with all those punts inside the 20 and average 49 and their net and everything. I think he's doing a really nice job kicking the ball, and believe it or not, I think he can even play better. I mean, he's a very talented guy, but he's doing the right things, and he's wired right, man. He does the right things for the right reasons in the team and works his tail off. I thought Seth was good in his PAT, his kicks, field goals, all that stuff. We had a couple of movement penalties. They were saying some things up there on the line, making some of our young guys jump that, that's all part of the game, man. You got to move past that, so hopefully the experience there will get past that. And unfortunately, Caden had 2 kicks that he missed, which he never does. He doesn't hit them, and we got to cover him, got to cover one of them a little bit better than we did. And we had a bad snap off choke, which is extremely rare, but it happened. And those are things we got to get cleaned up. So the good thing is, we won a good game, but we still got a lot of room to improve, which is important. And I think that's how good teams do. Each week you got to keep grinding and finding little increments to improve on things you do and to get better, because if you don't, you don't continue to grow, then I think you just wilt on the vine. One of my old saying is, my dad used to say. And you got to continue to do it. So we're pleased with everything we're going, but at the same time, we're heading in the right direction and got the right guys in the right place, and just got to keep playing good, and we'll get there. And had some other guys, like I said, up on the offensive line. Blake Traynor played a whole solid game and started, proved he could do it. I mean, played a pretty solid game in the game he did. You got Father, he got in there. You got Foster in there playing a lot of snaps. So we implemented some of the other young guys in there. So those guys getting in doing well, we were happy with, and we're continuing to grow and get better. And we better because I think we're facing one of the few teams. As I went home and sat in front of the TV, I said, well, I guess I ain't the Lone Ranger. I mean, you saw games and things and scenarios and tight games and situations across the country, but that's the way college football is going to be. So, matter of fact, I just did an interview with Paul for his show, and it was saying that. And I think transfer portal, teams are constantly changing, on and off and bad. I think you got so many young players now playing that I think maturity and getting guys in games. I mean, that the guys are rolling out as juniors now. I mean, consistently. So you're constantly playing young guys, and you can say they're talented, but how to play the game and play winning football is two different things at a high level. And I think you see it across the country everywhere. But it's something that hopefully we can remedy and get going, because the team we're playing right now has a very experienced team. They don't have a young team. This group has a lot of, you look, 4th, 5th, 6th year guys on their team, and they're playing probably as well as anybody in the country. When you talk about they're running the football, Arkansas is right now extremely well. Quarterback Jefferson's making throws, hitting big, long throws. I mean, chunk throws. But then all of a sudden he can take off and run and beat you with his legs. He's hard to get on the ground. The receivers, Burks, and that whole crew. I mean, Warren Thompson and Ten, all those guys for them. I recruited Warren when he was at Florida. I was at Florida State. Big athletic guys. Burks is phenomenal. Tailbacks can really run powerful. I mean, tailback was leading the league, I believe, 100-some yards a game, if I'm not mistaken, in the league, and playing great. Defensively, experienced, both linebackers inside. Been there. It seemed like they've been there 8 years. I've only been here 4. They've been here a long time. Those guys are bumper pool and 20. They're all over the place. Canelon, I think, is one of the best safeties in the country. I think he's phenomenal how he plays and what he does at corners. Up front guys, strong. They go from 3 down front, 4 down front. Kicking game, the freshman kickers made all of his kicks. They're punting the ball well, returning it well. I mean, they're playing really good football, and we're going to have to play a great game to be in the game right there and have a chance to win it. And we know that, so we got to have a great week of preparation to go play. So we'll keep moving on. Questions?
Brent, you'll start, and then Zach to the left.
Coach Slocum used to tell us around here, offensive line, maybe more so than any unit on a team, really could stand a red shirt, get seasoning, experience.
Lord.
I think you saw that with
They
your
could triple
seniors
red
last
shirt.
year. Right. So my point is, how do you remedy that in this day and age when you don't really have all those?
You just got to keep playing, and we do good on good during the week. See, that's one of the reasons why I practice good on good during the week. We do good on good inside, good on good team, good on good 7-on-7. So we're going against our own number ones on the other side. So we get that 2 to 3 days a week where we're getting good on good, and they got to block good people. It's not just blocking scout team guys or looks. So they have to really focus, and we work fundamentals to death. We pound them on the fundamental part of it, and we work good on good all the time, 2 to 3 days a week in our practices. And I truly believe allows us to get better, because you're having to block really good people during the week, as not only on the weekends. That keeps the speed of the game for you, and tenacity, and also can give you confidence when you start blocking those guys and doing those things. And hopefully we'll get a couple guys healthy and get them back on the field too. Can help.
Is there any update on Layden Robinson?
Yeah, I think Layton's supposed he should be in practice today. It looks like so. But we'll see. I mean, that's always till you see him out there and what goes on. Hopefully he'll be playing.
And speaking of blocking, Jalen Weidemeyer, you feel like that was maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for him in terms of getting things rolling? And
Well, no, Jalen's one of the best tight ends in the country, and I mean he makes mistakes. There's nobody harder on himself than he is on himself, and I have such expectations. I love him to death. I think he's one of the best. He's a great human being, and but man, I just think I have such high expectations for him, and I think he does himself too, and he will. Jalen will do fine. He'll still step up.
To the left, Zach, and then Travis down front.
And Jimbo, kind of piggybacking off the offensive line as far as going good on good in practice, are there specific things that you're looking for from these guys that kind of let you know, hey, they're starting to get it?
Well, yeah, I mean the consistency. Do you consistently steps, angles? You don't cross over on the second step. You get the first foot there, your hat play, first step. First thing is an offensive line. First step and hat placement are as important as anything you do. The angles, that's the key, and where you're putting your hat and where your eyes are going. And sometimes, like I say, in a blitz, our eyes they would chase back for just a split second. And what was happening, guys would get on our edges. We were there on guys, we weren't turning guys loose. We just weren't a half a step here, and they would get on the edge, and it'd be one of them. If you go back and look at the film, it's one of them. It's never 2 or 3 of them at a time. And it was different guys, and just constantly eye violations, which is huge. Understanding that your hat, your first step, then you work the hands into where you're going, and the consistency in which they do that. And that's going to allow their power to take over in the size and the athleticism they have. And the more consistently they do it in practice, the better they're going to do it in the game.
Go down front, Travis, and then to the back, behind the lights.
Defense has put up some great numbers, but how would you rate the linebacker play? And I know through each game there's been at least 1 or 2 times where they've been able to gash up the middle. How much of that falls there?
The other guy's on scholarship too. I mean, if every play was zero gain, which I'm all for, if it's the other team's offense, I'm all for that. Somebody ain't gonna be happy on that other side either. But no, I mean, listen, and it's again there is a twist come out, how a block comes out. The backers have been doing a good job, but sometimes it's a safety. What you don't realize, because a run comes off inside, sometimes the safety's responsible for that, or sometimes a twisting or a down lineman's responsible, and you're scrape containing, pinching the ends, and putting the backers on the edge. I mean, to answer that question individually, I have to look at the play. But I mean, that could be a multitude. That could be anywhere from a D lineman to a D end on a twist, back inside, or a backer or a safety. So. But I mean, they're doing a solid job. We're getting better each and every week, and we see it. And our athleticism and knowledge of what's going on is getting better.
Go back behind the lines, Tyler, and then we'll go with David Nuno, then back to Mike.
Jimbo, do you think this Arkansas team is the toughest that you'll have faced since you've gotten here, and just what makes them, I guess, different this year?
Well, I'm gonna say this: I think they're playing very well. I mean, we've had some battles on some teams they've had. There've been some great games up there, all come down the wire. So they've all been very tough, in my opinion. I think this game's a rivalry game, and they do a great job of getting up for it, and they play very hard in it. But this team is playing very well. Their team is very talented. Their team is very seasoned. I mean, very seasoned, and their players and they're coached very well, and they're playing very well. And I'm gonna say we're definitely gonna have our hands full. We're gonna have to play a great football game. There's no doubt. They're number 16 for a reason. I think that's what they are, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. And on the aisle, David, and then to the back, Mike.
Jimbo, with the veteranship that they have there at Arkansas, especially the defensive line, how important is it to get guys like A-Chain the ball in space to let them have some areas?
Well, you can, but you got to create space. You say that, I mean, because if you line them out in space, then they can go cover them in space. You got to create space. I mean, space is an easy thing to say, but it's a hard thing to create, because I mean, that's what you're trying to do. So we're going to have to create it. We're going to have to be, creative, or we're going to have to be physical. You have to do it physicality, you're going to do it creativity, you're going to have to do it also their ability to make people miss. I mean, there's a lot of ways, but the guys you get, Spiller, the Chain, and all those guys in space, and usually good things happen. But that's going to be the key. One of them, that's for sure.
Go back behind the lights, Mike, and then to the down front.
Coach, after the game on Saturday, you kind of called out your team, said they played average, challenged them to be more physical. So when you do that to a veteran team like this, how do you hope they respond?
We'll find out. I hope they go out and play better. And then, as saying that, we scored 4 out of 6 drives and 6 out of the first 9. I mean, that's not usually disastrous, but there's just some things with some negative plays and little things here, drop here, misread here, just things that could have got cleaned up a lot cleaner. I mean, there's games that we played and haven't scored, but played really clean. That's what I'm talking about. I want to play clean. I want the play to be executed the proper way it's supposed to be executed every time it's executed, and that's what coaches want. Then God-given ability takes over, or if you don't have the ability to do that, that's fine. But you got to do what you're capable of doing. And I think we could have executed cleaner and still made some really good plays in the game. But we got to execute better. That was my whole purpose. And that means coach better. I mean, when you're talking about execution, we're responsible for that too.
Down front, Cole, then Cease and Olin.
Coach, Leon said that there was a lot of Cam Newton to KJ Jefferson's game and overall and what he sees. What have you seen on the film from him, and what have you seen from him as the ability to run and also with the deep ball?
Well, I mean, he gets the ball down the field huge. They run the football so well, so their play action game's so good. Receivers are big and physical. He can drive it down the field. He's 245 pounds. He's 6'3", 6'4". I mean, I'm not sure exactly that regard, but I mean, tall, athletic, can run, and strong. He has that body. Well, you just because you hit him doesn't mean he goes down. And I mean, he's gonna be a heck of a challenge. There's no doubt.
Go to the left, Cease, and then Olin.
Getting back to your tone after the game, Jimbo, now that you saw the film, did it change a little bit? Did you feel
No, I mean, I know why that happened. The whys made me feel better that it's very, very fixable. But at the same time, there's things that you've coached over and over and over, and they have done over and over and over, and you got to continually, because here's the thing, take it from the practice field to the game field. Take it from the practice field to the game field. Just like y'all, when you first got in your business, I know what I want to write, I got an idea. How do I articulate it and get it on paper the proper way, the best way I can do it? Did you not get better every time you wrote an article? I mean, it's the same way when you play. Or just because you practice writing, and all of a sudden somebody puts you on the spot right there to write it. And my point is, there's things they can do, and they're very technical. And sometimes those last parts where you're trying to get that perfection are the hardest parts, because they're very technical, and they're just small, minuscule adjustments. And those are the parts that we got to get to. So I know they're very fixable, and I know why those things happen. And I think that's the thing, encouraging. But at the same time, it has things we have coached and they have done. Now they just got to continue to grow and hopefully take that deep breath on that play and then recognize it just that much quicker. You know what I mean? And then allows them to get that hat. It's not a lot, but it can be a lot. I mean, that's the thing you got to push to get perfection that you want on an offensive line. Because listen, it's 5 guys and then a tight end and then a back and then and all of a sudden here's this. You block it right and all of a sudden the back sees it just a little bit different. And so that cohesiveness we just got to find and grind to.
What about the health update of Matthews, Carper, Smith?
All right, keep talking. All right, go through them again.
Matthews,
Day to day,
Carper,
day to day,
and Nate Smith.
same as far as I know. I mean, he seemed good afterwards.
And we didn't ask about Young ever. I mean, he hasn't played.
Eric Young.
You know, Eric got banged up in camp, and he should be back. He should be back in practice and hopefully going.
Thank you.
We'll go Olin and
He
then
said him so
Jimbo.
quick. He talked quicker than me. You've been listening to me too long.
That's another Pennsylvania guy.
Y'all are from
Huh?
the same.
Pennsylvania, West Virginia.
Yeah.
No, don't put me in that PA. No. What part of PA?
Western Pennsylvania, up in the hills.
Where?
Katanning, Indiana, that area.
Oh, shoot, you're not far from me at all then.
No, not at all.
Same town, practically.
Yeah, it ain't far. Same type of, same type of environment.
All right, Olin.
Jimbo, going back to Saturday, you were talking about, I think you used the word nasty that you wanted to see from your guys. Is that
Yeah, you gotta like to be physical. You gotta be, not cheap or chip, but you gotta be physical in this game. You gotta be nasty. You gotta like it.
I guess what I'm asking you is, do you have nasty guys, or do you?
Yeah, we do. They are nasty, and they play that way. We coach them that way, and in a good way, because this game is a physical game, and you have to, football's a game of imposing your will. It's imposing your will on those lines of scrimmage, and I think that's what Arkansas is doing a great job of, and we're going to have to do it going into this game, that's for sure.
We'll go to the left, we've got 2 battalion riders, Jennifer first, and Brian, is it?
Hi, Coach Fisher. It might be a little early for this question to be asked, but earlier this year during the quarterback battle, you said that they were both championship quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
With how well Calzada played, especially during the opening drives, is there a chance that even once King is recovered and everything, that there will be a renewed battle for the starting position?
Oh, listen, when they come back, whoever's giving us the best chance to win and how he plays, and yes, that's relative. And when you come back, who gives us the best chance to win at that particular time based on how they're playing, there's no doubt about that, for sure.
Go ahead.
Hey, Coach Fisher, you talked about Nick earlier and a little bit of his punting. What have you seen off the field that really allows him to be that successful of a player?
I come up here on an off-season day or something, and I go to work out in the gym and the weight room by myself. He'll be in there lifting. You go drive by that, all of a sudden you see balls booming up from the field. You drive by, you'll be taking somebody around. Somebody say, "I like to see a stadium." Walk in there, Nick standing in the stadium. It's like I don't know if he knows when I come and does it on purpose, but every time you ever walk around here, he is just a workaholic. He's either lifting, he's running, he's kicking, he's doing. It's just something constantly, developing his game, day in, day out. Weekends, off games. It's like it's all the time.
Anything else? Going once. All right, Coach, I think you answered.
Thank you.